as training manager for iTutor, I represent the advisors and Dave representing the teachers. What we wanted to do is talk through the 7 steps to success through the 24 months of your membership.
There are many parts to the 7 steps. The first one being that there's many milestones that each child goes through every year at school, whether that be preparation for an exam during the ages of year 3, 5, 7, 9. Every child does NAPLAN, for the national test for all children for literacy and numeracy.
Which creates heaps of stress, doesn't it?
Definitely. A lot of parents don't know exactly what it's about, neither do the children.
Yeah, true.
So we've also got preparations for tests and exams that come, most weeks every year, especially as we get to high school. We're doing them more and more often.
Yeah.
If we want our child to get into a particular school, we might have to sit a scholarship exam.
True. Lots of families are also asking about the PAC program, the GATE program, and how they can actually enter those programs as well.
Yeah, and linking back to NAPLAN, if we don't get the high enough results in literacy and numeracy in our year 9 NAPLAN, we actually have to sit a test called ULNA, which assesses if we've got the required literacy and numeracy to graduate from high school.
Yeah, correct.
So there's many milestones that each child has to tick off each year, and we want to recognise those. The next part is the second part, which is the curriculum. What parts of the curriculum are we actually covering at school at the moment? The curriculum is a massive document, and to take the time to read through it, all of the information, the know-how, takes teachers during their school holidays, hours if not days to go through. But we're expected to know as parents what they're meant to be doing. So what we're doing through our proactive support for the curriculum is recognising each part and making sure that we're covering it off within the program and with extra practice also sent to you from the teachers.
The parents sort of finding at different schools that different levels of the curriculum or different stages of the curriculum are being taught in the same year in different classrooms.
Yeah.
So I guess it's trying to line that up for where a child should be, preparing them for the following year.
Correct. We all work at different paces, and some children get really bored with what they're doing at school at the moment because they're not getting challenged, where others are struggling to keep up. So the beauty of the program is that we can actually work as slowly or as quickly as we like. And so working out a lesson plan, which is the third part, mapping out your path to success. So we want to make sure that we're travelling at the pace that our child likes and make sure that we're actually doing everything that we can to be successful. And that starts with the initial lesson plan, which you would have already received from the teacher that visited your home. Step 4 is packing up and setting yourself up ready to go. So that involves making sure that you know all of the different parts that you need to prepare for. So let's say for an exam, there's lots of tips and tricks that you need to know to make sure that you can actually sit an exam successfully. It's not always just knowing all of the information. You might need to know a little bit more about how to pace yourself, whether you do the multiple choice first or how you allocate your time to different parts.
Such as, I guess, reading through the entire test before getting into it and looking at where the most marks are.
Correct.
Would be a good study tip.
Correct. So part of setting up and getting ready to go is making sure you know exactly the procedure of how to attack an exam or a scholarship test or anything that might be coming up, any of these milestones. The fifth part is IDing the roadblocks. IDing the roadblocks is usually there's a gap in any child's learning, and that can be a major roadblock as to whether they proceed any further. It might be a small little part of maybe fractions in year 4 or 5 that then means that the more complicated concepts that we learn further on might be a little bit more difficult to understand. And so we want to make sure that all of those gaps are identified early so that we can turn those weaknesses into strengths.
Yeah, that makes sense. So when you say IDing a roadblock, it's really just to identify that this is going to cause a problem later.
Yes.
So we need to address it now. We need to also go back and identify little roadblocks that have occurred in the past.
Correct. So then what we can do, this is all part of preparation. We make sure we're prepared for our exam or prepared for our test.
So I mentioned earlier about reaching back to the previous gaps. Step 6 is reaching back and reviewing what it is we've actually done.
This part of it is all about building confidence for that exam, knowing that we can actually reach back and see all of the things that we've achieved through our lesson plan and through our goals, through our success plan, that if we reach back and review what we've done, we know that most of the stuff that's coming up is stuff that we know and we've practiced over and over again through repetition.
Part of that reaching back also would be to look at our little wins along the way so that we can build a child's confidence. A lot of focus goes on what they don't know, but looking at what they've learnt in that period of time leading up to, whether it be an exam or whether it any of the milestones that we've picked, to be able to go back and say, wow, look, we've got all these things right, so that we can walk into whatever that event is, that milestone is, with a hell of a lot of confidence.
Yeah. So if we're then reaching back, reviewing what we've done, we can then go into our exam happy that we've done what we need to. And the 7th step is actually just going back and reaching back and topping up on all the information. So tuning what we've done to make sure that what we do in the future, going back from step 1 through to 7, again for another milestone, we know what mistakes we made, we know that we can improve in certain areas, and that they're covered so that we are better prepared for next time.
So would that be more when let's use an exam as an example. Yeah. Would that be now that we've done the exam, let's have a look at the wins and the losses?
Yeah, exactly.
What we did correctly, what we could have improved on, and then tuning up the lesson plan to fill those gaps and prepare for the next milestone. Would that be right?
Exactly. So if the next time you call 1300, at least you know that there's a procedure in place, a 7-step plan to make sure that we're actually following through on all of the preparation that's required for any of these milestones, whether it be NAT plan, whether it be an exam. We can go through, there's many milestones. But if we can make sure that we tune and top up and make sure that the confidence is there to continue for the future, then it'll be much better for your child's education.
So they're the 7 steps that you'll feel repeated over and over again, not just in the first 24 months of your membership, but all the way through, hopefully till your children reach year 12 and we get into the really serious milestones as we head into life.